Hello and welcome to Today in Brevard Sports. I'm Lee Nessel. Brian McCallum is off this week and will join us again next Friday. Well, Brevard County is known as the Space Coast, but we could also probably be called the Surf Coast. We visit a special surf event in Cocoa Beach where the disabled overcome their challenges and experience the thrill of riding the waves. Then, joining me in studio will be Florida Today surfing expert Hillard Grossman. He will talk about the best of the best in the world of competitive surfing, Cocoa Beach's own Kelly Slater. We also have our weekly surf report, and our columnist Peter Kerasotis joins us for his weekly commentary. First, fresh off a national title, with their star quarterback Tim Tebow returning, the Florida Gators are the team with the bullseye on their backs this college football season. Tebow talked about both of those recently at the SEC Media Days.
It was enjoyable. Winning national championships, a dream come true. But then after a few weeks, we kind of put that to the side and said, we got some work to do and we got to go do it. So we've been working pretty hard ever since. Well, I think that you need to have a lot of emotion, not let it get to you emotion, but have enough emotion where you care so much that you're willing to do anything to win. Your teammates see that, whether it's, waking up at 4, going to bed at 1, studying all day, studying all night, training, preparing, because that's what it takes. Every day you go in there to get better, not to get by.
Whether you're a Gators fan or you're just a fan of the game, be sure to check out and bookmark our new and improved Gators blog. Florida Today's David Jones lives in Gainesville and covers the Gators for you. He's one of the best in the business, bringing you the latest news and updates. Visit floridatoday.com/GatorsBlog. He's been posting multiple items in there every day this week, and the season hasn't even started yet, so there's more to come. Now, back to the ocean. A lot of surfing happens on the Brevard coast, but this past weekend, a group of people learned just how therapeutic some time in the waves can be. Here's a look at a surfing experience like no other.
A friend of mine hurt himself surfing about a year ago, and he's a spinal cord injury person himself. And looking to get people back in the water, I found out about it on the internet, finding things for him. And I just really support the cause, and it's just a great thing. This is just a portion of it where they do the program's called They Will Surf Again. So that's why we're out here today helping these spinal cord injuries people get back into the water and do things that everyone else can do.
I came out with Christian surfers to volunteer. It's a good cause, and to see all these people happy surfing.
It's an absolutely amazing experience for someone like me who's been in a wheelchair all their life, and being able to be out there and be free is just an amazing, amazing time. And you get amazing people who are willing to let you go out there and just be yourself and do it. It's great.
The first time I caught a wave was in 2007 at the Jacksonville event through Brooks Rehab and with LRO. And the way you learn once you've been around for a while that the waves get better. The waves were kind of flat in Jacksonville, and then I came here that year and had a totally different experience. That's what I love about it, because each experience is different, but each experience is awesome.
It's basically a day of fun for them. It's not about us, the surfers that come here and surf. It's about the ones who might not have that opportunity to come and surf.
Yeah, this is our first time surfing. Yep. It's something new for me, so I'm looking forward to, trying a new challenge, see what it's all about.
Ocean water's like medicine. You gotta, once you're in it, you gotta be always in it. I don't know, I've been born and raised right here at the beach on the weekends, and I still enjoy surfing even though I'm injured. I've helped Life Rolls On a couple of times with their events and stuff like this. I enjoy coming out and seeing other people having smiles on their face, and so that's why I'm out here, just to meet other people and enjoy surfing along with them.
It's a great event to volunteer from. I've been surfing for over 20 years, and it's just a good way for me to share my surfing experience with other people, and to do this with a person who's disabled and obviously wouldn't be able to do something like this on their own. It's a great feeling. I try to keep an eye on the surfer as they're coming in, and you know, if they fall off the surfboard within my vicinity, I swim to them as fast as I can and grab them and try to stabilize them, put them back on the surfboard. Definitely, water is a kind of a therapy. You know, it's very soothing, provided you don't get pounded into the sand by big waves or anything. I've surfed since I was 12 years old, and it's something I don't expect to ever not do. It's a great feeling for me to share my experience with other people.
I had a good time. Some of the waves are pretty good. The volunteers are great. Everybody's really helpful. Big smiles. Very addictive. I'll probably get me a surfboard now that I've been down here. The water's fine. It was a lot of fun.
It was amazing. I just finished up my first ride of the day. Caught 5 waves. Really good, amazing waves. Pearled a couple times, but got back up and did it again. Again, I have to praise the volunteers. They do an amazing job. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be doing this. Hoping to get out there and do a second session. Hope to make it better than the first, and that's going to be hard to top, but we did it. Great day!
Thanks to videographer Caroline Perez for bringing us that inspiring story. We welcome Hillard Grossman to the show.
Thank you.
We always have Hillard on to come talk about pro surfing. He's been following for years the 3 local surfers traveling the world on the ASP tour.
Of course, we've got twin brothers CJ and Damian Hobgood, and of course the 9-time world champion Kelly Slater, still going strong at age 37. He even made ESPN's top 10 plays of the day with his performance at the Hurley U.S. Open of Surfing.
Here goes Kelly. Here goes Kelly right here.
Right here.
There you see him on screen taking off. Wow.
Getting barreled.
Oh my
Jeez,
gosh!
man.
That is what I am talking about. I mean, that was a bomb. He just got engulfed by the whitewash. That is why you have a 9-time world champion. And that was amazing.
Kelly Slater. This was the biggest wave ridden all day. Biggest set, biggest wave ridden. Of course, it's in Kelly's heat.
Huntington Beach, by the way. Just a little side note.
That was well done.
And
watch this whitewash engulf him right here.
Wow, he is amazing. You know, with the current technology, I love being able to log on and watch these guys surf live online when I'm at work sometimes, I admit. Very exciting. And the commentators watched Kelly. I watched him in the round of 24, and they were even calling him superhuman. What do you think?
He is superhuman, I believe. He scored a perfect 10 out there, and it's got him national attention, and it's got surfing national attention, which is tremendous. His perfect 10, he actually thought he was going to dork it, that was the word he used. He grabbed his rail a little early and didn't think that the wave was going to close out. And it actually came back and did, and it was just an amazing ride out there. The waves are up to 12 feet in Huntington Beach, and he loves that place where to surf. I mean, that's his spot, basically. He's from Santa Barbara out there, and of course he is from Cocoa Beach, but he lives in Santa Barbara, and he surfs the waves out there in California, and he was right there in his home turf. Unfortunately, he didn't win the big prize, but he put on a good show.
Now, Hurley stepped in an historic fashion, and they bumped up the first place prize for this to $100,000. And now we know Kelly brings the fans. The commentators also said that a lot of people in the California area seemed to know when he was surfing because an extra 10,000 people would show up just to watch him surf. But he didn't walk away with the $100,000. Who did?
Well, Brett Simpson walked away with $100,000. He beat Mick Fanning in the final. Brett Simpson is a Californian. I got a chance to interview him here at Sebastian Inlet when he participated in the January event. His dad is a former NFL player who played with the Los Angeles Rams and the Buffalo Bills. So he's got a little athletic background to him. Brett Simpson is a nice guy. He just came off a big win on a 5-star event, and here he is winning a 6-star event. He's now qualifies in the number 5 spot on the WQS, which is the World Qualifying Series. The top 16 make it to next year's World Tour. Looks like he's right in there.
So another one for Kelly to look out for. He's still holding off all these young guys, you know, generally. Also, CJ Hobgood, local boy, was in the contest, and he's sitting at number 2 in the world right now. That's pretty exciting for him. How did he do?
CJ did very well. He only made $5,000, which is a big difference than the $100,000, but 2 wins away from $100,000. You know, that was really amazing. CJ actually ended up losing to Brett Simpson, the eventual champion, so nothing to be ashamed of.
Now, like I said, CJ sit at number 2. How much of a difference is there, you know, for him to catch up to number 1, and what's the next event coming up?
Well, the next event, C.J. Hobgood is, believe it or not, he's 1,600 points behind the leader, Joel Parkinson, at this stage, in number 2. Parkinson's kind of running away with it, but Kelly Slater has kind of mapped it out where he says he needs 3 victories in the last 5 events. Well, if you look at that, it's kind of hard to believe that he could get 3 wins, but hey, let's take a look at the next event, September 13th in Trestles, California. Slater is a dominant factor at Trestles, California. He's won 90% of his heats. Last year he beat Taj Burrow in the highest scoring heat ever in championship play, 1943 to 1808. He's just amazing. He's got 3 first place finishes, 2 second place finishes, and a 5th in his past 6 years at Trestles. So don't count Slater out. I'd say he'd probably be the odds-on favorite. He's if you go back to 2004, he and Joel Parkinson were in the final, and Parkinson beat him. So Slater's probably got a little revenge coming for him.
Well, thank you, Hillard. Let me tell you, wherever in the world these guys are surfing, Hillard's going to be reporting, and you can get the latest on all of them in Florida today. All psyched now to get out in the water? Here's Bob Freeman with his surf report for the weekend.
Okay, thank you. Looks like we're going to have another fun weekend for surf. Not real big, but looks like there'll be plenty of surf for everybody at pretty much all of the more popular surf spots throughout Brevard County. So here's what I see going on. We're getting a steady southeasterly swell, long distance swell, but fairly reasonable interval, I'm guessing around the 8 to 9 second range. And what that means to us is this. Saturday I'm looking at waist-high surf at pretty much all of the breaks with a little bit of southeast wind on it. Not too much to chop it up, but we'll add a little soft bump. Sunday, I expect the conditions to improve a little bit. The breeze should be about the same out of the southeast. Swell direction will be the same, but it looks like it'll be a little stronger. So be on the lookout for some larger sets, possibly in the chest-high range. Watch your tide tables, pick your favorite board, get out there, have a good time. I'll probably see you out someplace. This is Bob Freeman for Florida Today.
Thank you, Bob. Aside from surf, there's a lot of golf in our area as well. So why not start learning when you're young? Local teaching professional Rachel Petrolito has been sharing her golf knowledge for 12 years now.
What we're working on is basically your distance. Now let me ask you a question. If you were out on the course and you had a 3-foot putt, okay? What is most important to you about that putt in your swing thought? Is it distance or is it direction? What do you think? You have a 3-foot putt. Direction? Okay? Yeah. Basically, the children are taught the aspects of the game of golf, everything from putting to chipping, pitching, full swing. The fundamentals, we also get into rules and etiquette on the course, penalty shots, what their options are. The kids come here at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I hold the class till 10:30, and sometimes longer because we do get them out on the course. I believe they're learning a lot here. As I said, we're basically a developmental program where we teach the aspects of the game here, and then we do follow up. I'll take them out on the course, and I look to see how they're doing with their fundamentals of the game of golf and the rules and the etiquette. You know, we remind them from week to week if need be. But I really believe, you know, this has been going on now for 6 weeks, and I had the children out on the course the first week, and if you ask probably any one of them, they can definitely tell you that since day one that they have improved. And that's the main point. Keep it fun and let them see that they are improving, which is very important for them to continue with golf. What we've been doing right now is we have the applications here on hand at Joe Daddy's, and also I have a website. It's www.fortheswingofit.com, where the children can go into that website, and I have all the applications and information about the program right on the website. Shorten up the backswing, follow through. That's what I want right there. sneaking it in. Good job.
There is one more week for the class, but Petrolito said she will continue with an afternoon class for adults and juniors in the winter. You can visit her website, fortheswingofit.com, for more information. So, what do Steve Spurrier, Michael Vick, and Pete Rose have in common? They're all part of this week's commentary with columnist Peter Kerasotis.
Thank you, Lee. A lot to talk about this week. Let's start off with controversy surrounding Steve Spurrier and his alma mater, the University of Florida. And here's what the controversy centers on. Before the SEC and college football season starts, there's an SEC meeting. All the SEC coaches are asked to fill out a ballot for who they feel the all-SEC preseason team ought to be. And then the media gets together in Alabama and they talk to coaches and select players up there. Well, it turns out that on Steve Spurrier, who's now the coach at South Carolina, on his ballot, he left off Florida quarterback Tim Tebow off his ballot for the all-SEC team, which is pretty shocking considering the fact that Spurrier was also the only coach that did not vote for Tim Tebow. And he was very apologetic about that, but something really doesn't sound right concerning it. He blamed his personal assistant, Jamie Speronis, who's the director of operations there. He apologized profusely. Guys that I talked to said that it almost sounded rehearsed, that maybe he knowingly left Tebow off the ballot and then therefore realized that he was going to be outed and kind of over-apologized. So it really looks kind of petty, it looks kind of bad, but I will say this, Spurrier's always been the most honest coach I've ever been around. I've never known him to lie. You know, like a lot of people, he can tend to leave out some facts, but this really does not look good for him and his legacy with his alma mater, the University of Florida. Now let's move on to the case with Michael Vick, reinstated into the NFL, but it's a conditional reinstatement according to NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. And, to use a football term, it almost seems like they're piling on with him now. He has paid his debt to society. He had a federal charge against him, and now the NFL saying that the federal charge in him paying the debt to society for that federal charge of running a dogfighting operation is not enough. I'd like to see them just back off, let him get on with his life. There's going to be protesters. There's going to be people that will never forgive him no matter what he does going forward in his life at this point. But I really think that he deserves a second chance. Obviously, some team, he's a marvelous talent, will want to have him on their team. We'll see who that proves to be, and we'll see what happens going forward. Now, no pun intended, I can understand the NFL wanting to keep him on a short leash. You don't want that guy, really having much leeway. You want the reins, the parameters that he's going to operate in to be very tight, because what he did was a serious crime, and a lot of people are still going to be protesting. But I think the protesters, that'll get old after a while, preseason into the NFL, regular season, and then after that I think the media will tire of it, the protesters will tire of it, and then everybody just needs to move on and see if this guy is going to turn his life around. Our final topic is Pete Rose. I think Bud Selig, the commissioner of baseball, is kind of doing this, testing to see which way the wind is going to blow. Hank Aaron, who's a good friend of his, who I don't think would say it's time to reinstate Pete Rose unless he had talked with Bud Selig about this prior. I think they're just kind of seeing where the wind is blowing, what kind of reaction they're going to get to that notion of reinstating him to baseball. And a lot of commentary that was driven off of that this past week. I'd like to see Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame. I don't think he deserves to be back in baseball, but the Hall of Fame was when he was a player, so I say put him back in, keep him out of baseball for gambling on the game, and let's move forward with that as well.
Thank you, Peter. That's all the time we have this week for Today in Brevard Sports. Thank you for joining me. Until next week's show, follow us in the print edition of Florida Today and online at floridatoday.com.